Hello, everybody.
Welcome back to another episode of
A BJJ Marriage, where we talk about our lives as a married jiu-jitsu couple. My stomach is making so many noises.
Oh, really?
As I was pressing play, it was like...
How's that go again? Bruh. Your song is just like, bruh.
It's like the modern grudge. You know how the grudge always made that noise? Like, that noise? Yeah. I actually never watched that movie.
Oh my god.
I was too young when that came out and I was not allowed because I would have not slept.
Huh?
But there's no change because I still can't watch scary movies and I still won't sleep if I do. Like, to this day, I still can't go to the bathroom in the middle of the night unless the lights are always on. No, I have to turn a light on, though. Like, I can't just, like, walk in there in the dark, pee, and then go back to bed, like, type of thing. Because I watched Hide and Seek when I was, like, 7. And that was with Dakota Fanning and whoever else was in there. And it terrified me because people kept dying in the bathtub. So now every time I wake up in the middle of the night and if I have to go to the bathroom, I either hold it or I have to turn on every light in the house because it freaks me out. I don't want to see someone dead in their bathtub.
Well, we can teach you some bathtub defense this week.
Okay, great. Hello, welcome.
Back on topic. Welcome to another episode of BJJ Marriage with Nick and Brittany.
Yes, episode 44. So we apologize that we're a week late. And thank you to everyone who was apparently concerned about us last week when we did not have one out. We've had actually quite a few people say that they were upset or disappointed or concerned that we didn't have one out because we ruined their routine. So I apologize.
Sorry for disappointing. It just wasn't in the cards last weekend.
No, and that's what we're going to talk about this week is how busy we've been. But a good busy, fun busy.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, so it has been 2 weeks.
Oh, and it's also Christmas this week. So early Merry Christmas because next week it'll be past Christmas.
Yes, and happy early holidays.
Yes.
Happy Kwanzaa. I forgot that big word of Christmas is.
Well, whatever you celebrate. We're celebrating Christmas.
Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. That's it.
Okay. We're reindeers today, and I got my Santa hat, slippers on.
Your feet hats.
My feet hat. And then our Let It Snow mugs, and feeling festive today. We also brought the entire pot of coffee down. It's been like that this week.
Uh-huh.
But anyway.
There's bells on my head, isn't there?
Yeah, but they're not very loud. Only if you do that. Don't do that.
Okay. I think she put bells on me so she knows where I am around the house. So I don't scare her.
Maybe it would get you to stop moving because you didn't want the background noise in the
podcast. Good luck.
So, I hope you guys have had a great last 2 weeks because we sure have.
Yes.
We've been doing a whole lot of stuff. I feel like this is probably the first time that we're actually sitting down.
Yeah, kind of.
Outside of, like, sleeping.
Yeah, and outside of, like, instruction on the mats.
Yeah. There's been a lot. So, the reason we didn't get one out last week was because we were at Josh Janis's second Gentle Art Lifestyle Camp.
Mm-hmm. The fire and water camp.
Yeah, it was a Saturday and Sunday, and typically we record on Sundays, but we were a little busy all day, and we had thought about recording earlier in the week, but we wanted to wait so we could talk about the camp.
Right.
And then we were going to do it on, like, Monday, but then stuff came up, and we just didn't have time. So, again, sorry, we're late, but here we are. We're okay. We're not dead. We're not dead in the bathtub.
Jeez. Well, now you're just tempting fate.
Yeah. Okay.
Brought it up 3 times. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that was camp 1 of 2. There's another fire and water camp coming up in February. Mm-hmm. So after this, if you like what you heard, there's plenty of spots available. But it's going to be super fun. And it was super fun. We had 3 amazing instructors at the camp. Josh was one of the instructors. And then the host, Jim. You can tell my coffee is not kicked in yet.
Jim?
The host dojo of Neutral Ground.
I thought you meant Jim, like Jim. I was like, who's Jim?
Yeah, you need more coffee too.
Did you see my face? I was like, Jim, it was John. What is wrong with you?
Who's Jim? I've never heard of Jim.
Jim, Gym. Got it. Okay.
Yes.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
The head instructor of the host gym, John Friedland.
Mr. John Friedland.
Was also an instructor, and he taught some awesome stuff that complements my game. And then we also had Charles Harriott come in from Florida, and he is a prolific BJJ Globetrotter instructor.
Yes. And we were really upset because we really wanted to have Charles and his girlfriend Natasha, so shout out to them. They were actually supposed to be on the podcast. We were planning to record last Sunday night after the camp because we went and hung out with them, and we decided to drink and play games instead.
Well, you know, we needed some relax and like decompress time because it was 2 days. 2 days of jiu-jitsu. I think there was over like 9 or 10 hours of seminars, and then there was probably like 4 to 6 hours of open mat.
Yeah, it was wild.
It packed in 2 days. And besides all of the jiu-jitsu, which we'll get into in a little bit, we also did a cold exposure Saturday night and Sunday morning.
I don't know about we. I did not.
Me and some other people in the camp.
Yep.
And we had a poker tournament, which was fun. But the cold exposure, Saturday night, after all the jiu-jitsu, so we did breathing in the morning at like 8 a.m., some Wim Hof breathing, and then we did jiu-jitsu from 9...
Let's back up for a minute. So Wim Hof breathing, if you don't know what that is, you should look it up, because I honestly thought it was really weird.
Woo-woo.
Yeah, a little crazy, a little hippie, a little too hippie for me. But I did it at the last camp that we were at in August, and I thought that it was pretty relaxing, and I felt a little silly doing it, but honestly, the effects that you get and the benefits that come after it are pretty cool.
Oh, I was just doing it.
Yeah, I realized. So it's basically belly breathing, for lack of words, just because I don't want to go through it like Nick just did. But Josh basically like times you for 2-3 minutes or so, and you're just supposed to be doing like these big inhales and exhales, and you really have to like expand your stomach, and then when you breathe in, you're supposed to like really breathe out and just really be in tune with your body. And then after, I don't know, however long the timer is, he stops it, and then you're supposed to hold your breath after about 30 breaths, like 30 Wim Hof breathing breaths, and then you're supposed to hold it for as long as you can. And it was a cool exercise because what we did was we started it just like normal breathing, just how you would when you're having an everyday conversation, and then he wants you to just hold your breath and see how long you can do it. On average, it was between like 15 and 45 seconds for people. And then we did the Wim Hof breathing, and we did 3 rounds of it. And the first round, after holding our breath for however long it was, he said that the shortest time was 45 seconds. And that was the longest time before doing the breathing. And then it just kind of expanded from there. Like, I know Natasha was like 2 minutes and 10 seconds at the end of the third round. I think Nick was about 2 minutes. He was like 1 minute and 55 seconds or something.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool that you can see the improvement of that. And it may sound a little weird to just want to figure out how long you can hold your breath for, like a 5-year-old underwater. But it's supposed to be all about like finding that peace in your body and like relaxing. And so I know what I like to think about when I'm trying to hold my breath is actually being on a wave and relaxing in the water. And that's how I feel of it. What do you think about when you're holding your breath?
Yeah, so Wim Hof breathing, I've been doing it for a while. It's a meditative practice for me. And I used to meditate a lot, just regularly, and watching my breath while I meditate. But Wim Hof meditation, I find, is way more beneficial, and I feel like it does a lot more for me. But yeah, she was right. You typically take 30 to 45 deep belly breaths. And it's not exhaling hard, but it's definitely inhaling hard. You just exhale without pushing any air out. But then you're able to hyperoxygenate your body. And that's what allows you to hold your breath until you need to expel CO2, which is what we do whenever we breathe. We bring in oxygen, but the main part is expelling the CO2, which is bad for us.
I think Josh also describes it too as like using what's available to us. If the oxygen is here, we should take more advantage of it, type of thing. Which is kind of like how that Costa Rica episode was yesterday. Take advantage of what you have, your surroundings.
Oh, sure, yeah. But the breathing for me, I find it's really peaceful when you're doing the breath hold and you meditate for that 2 minutes or however long you hold your breath. And when you do that with cold exposure, there's it's a heightened level of meditation, which is super fun. But the breathing helps you get through cold exposure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say the actual breathing part is not as relaxing just because you are trying to focus on the deep breaths. And I know another thing that I personally do because I don't have very much experience with it is I put my phone on my belly so that I could actually feel my stomach rising when I was taking my breaths without it having falling off. And that's something that Megan Wagner told me to do because she thought it would help. So I don't know. I just feel like the actual breathing itself is not fantastic. But the holding your breath is actually very calming and relaxing. And I really did enjoy that.
The breathing is super powerful because you learn how to take deep breaths with your belly, which is super beneficial for jiu-jitsu. Mm-hmm. Because there's a lot of times where people in jiu-jitsu, you can hear them when they're like, and they're trying to go for stuff. But if you can just take deep inhales, and not need to continue breathing because you're hyperoxygenated while you're doing jiu-jitsu, it gives you an extra edge in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. He just made me do it yesterday too because we had just finished open mat. I was soaking wet in sweat and it was just gross. And we got in the car and it's freaking 30 degrees in Wisconsin. And so I'm just hyperventilating because I'm so freaking cold in the car. And Nick was like, deep breath, belly breath, Wim Hof. And I was like, oh my God. And then I felt better after 5.
Yeah. And she was like, oh. I saw it in her face.
So it does help.
Yeah. But it's also a good way for people that have high anxiety or people that are stressed out or if you're tired and you need to do something to wake up real quick. Mm-hmm. If you're able to use this Wim Hof breathing method, it actually helps you put your body in a mode where you're in control versus the other way where your body wants to take control of you and tell you what to do. Right. But no, I am my body's bitch. I'm in control. I breathe when I want to breathe.
Wow.
Stay hard.
Well then.
You don't know who David Goggins is.
I do.
Well.
Okay. So that was Saturday morning at 8 a.m. at Neutral Ground Bayview. So
yeah.
Shout out Neutral Ground. Thank you for letting us have the camp there and hosting Mr. John Friedland, Mr. Jim, apparently.
Mr. Jim John. John at the gym.
Yeah. But so that was 8 a.m. and then seminars started right at 9, actually. And so the way we did it was we had 2 seminars. No, did they do all 3?
No, first day was 2 seminars and lunch.
Okay, yeah. So there's 2 hour-and-a-half seminars. So it was 3 hours of BJJ. And mm-hmm. then we got lunch, which was included. So they got a bunch of stuff to make your own subs, which was a very healthy, light lunch. Mm-hmm. Fill us up on protein and carbs, which is exactly what jiu-jitsu practitioners probably need in the middle of all of that. But so the first seminar that we did was actually led by Charles Harriott, and he really more so taught concepts of chokes and what chokes are doing to the body when it's happening and how, sorry if you just are starting and I'm about to offend you, but you know how when you are brand new to jiu-jitsu and you think that you need to choke and then you just get there and you use all of your strength and most of the time you're using the blade of your hand instead of the elbow pad and you're just making it super uncomfortable for them and you're breaking their trachea and you're just I need to be so strong and I need to get this choke. And he was basically telling us this is how you do a proper choke and it really takes absolutely no physical effort if you do it right.
Yeah. I used his choke theory this week. I had a choke in, and it wasn't perfect, because nothing's ever perfect in jiu-jitsu, but most of the times, the way people recover or escape is when you try to readjust your choke. But the choke theory seminar we went to was no, if you got a good choke, and it's somewhat there, as long as you hold it for 30 seconds, they're going to tap. Mm-hmm. And this week, I was in a choke. It wasn't perfect, like I said, but I was I'm not going to adjust. One? No, I was holding someone in one. Had someone in a strangle, I should say. And I was no, I'm just going to ride this out and see what it's like. And then after 10 seconds, then they're okay, I need a tap. and they were I was waiting for you to adjust. I was I know.
Yeah, so the way he explained it was basically doing a rear naked choke, but he wanted to explain it as doing the Macarena so that you would do it in steps.
Oh, yeah,
so you literally were behind their back, and then you would put your arm out in front of their shoulder, and then the other arm in front of the shoulder, and then you would do the Macarena, open up your palm, and then you're going to take your palm and bring it to your shoulder, which now their neck should be in between your elbow pit and your forearm, and then your chest should be on their back. And then with the other arm, what were we doing with this one?
It just comes here.
Yeah, so a lot of people, like, you grab the bicep, you put the hand behind the head, and then you squeeze your elbows, right? But this one was just, you're on your shoulder, and then you take that other palm from the Macarena, and then you just kind of almost go into
put it on
a
your
cross
other shoulder.
position.
Put it behind the head and just...
Yep. And you don't even squeeze. You just hold it there. Because what's happening is the same concept of a rear naked choke, where your bicep is in one of their arteries, and then your forearm is in the other. But without squeezing, you're still compressing on their breathing and their arteries and their airways and all of that. And he was explaining it as like the length of the size of a straw. And that's a pretty small airway to have to close. So just with no pressure, if you just hold it there long enough, they really do start turning a different color.
Yeah.
Even though you're not putting any pressure on.
So the size of the straw is, she's talking about arteries, not airway. And all you need to do, you can literally choke yourself out by putting your fingers into your arteries and just holding it there. And you hear my voice is changing. And I'm probably going to pass out if I don't move my fingers. Even if I hold it here just for a little bit. But my face is probably starting to change colors. I can feel it a little bit. But I'm not going to do that anymore.
But that's what he was explaining. He went through the 5 types of chokes that there are too. Like the basic rear naked choke, where you're blocking both of their arteries. And then you got the trachea crush, the muffle, and then... you remember, don't you?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so there's arteries, trachea crush. No, that's a strangle also.
Really? I thought he explained that as differently.
No, that's not different. Okay. So there's the strangle, the trachea crush, which is like your short choke, typical one. Then, like she said, the physical muffle. Then there's a neck crank.
Yep.
And then there's the last one, which has been done to me, and I'll never live it down because her dad did it to me. From side control.
Oh, yeah, that's
But it's where you compress their diaphragm and their lungs, and when they breathe out, you compress it more, and then they try to breathe in, but they physically can't anymore. And I don't remember exactly what he called it.
I don't remember what he called it either, but if you can't picture it, I think he did it from like crucifix position.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of keep compressing into them and squeezing their like knees to their head, and like you just keep cradling them while you're in crucifix and just making their life miserable.
But yeah, basically you make it physically impossible for their diaphragm to contract more.
Yeah.
So that their lungs cannot fill up with air.
Right.
And then they really start to panic and tap before they ever pass out.
It's supposed to be very painful, and it was apparently painful enough. I've not experienced this, thankfully. But Charles didn't even want to use Natasha, his girlfriend, as an ookie for that one. He used her for the other 4, but he was like, I won't even use her for this one, so who wants to be in pain? You'd be surprised at how many people volunteered, actually.
Yeah, there's this blue belt like, ooh, me.
Yeah.
And I was like, that used to be me.
Freaking blue belts. Yeah. They're the worst.
Dang blue belts.
But yeah, so that was Charles' very first seminar that he did that day, and it was the first seminar of the camp, so it was very fun and a good way to like kind of dip your toes in and get ready for the rest of the day. Because then when Josh taught, he went on about wrist locks and ankle locks.
Yes.
That was his seminar for the day.
Yeah.
And it was good, obviously. Like, any black belt seminar was fantastic.
I enjoyed it a lot. It's a concept I've been playing with a lot, too. But he showed a couple specific wrist lock and toe hold setups.
Yep.
But he basically, the gist of the seminar was, if you can play with the wrist and ankle, you're going to open up a lot more options for yourself. Because if they don't respect the wrist lock, if they don't respect the ankle lock, they're just going to tap there. So, yeah, you need to respect the wrist locks and the ankle locks and not just ignore them because they will indefinitely open up more avenues for you in your jiu-jitsu.
Yes, and he actually taught, so I've never been a wrist locker or even an ankle locker. I just started playing with foot stuff when I was like a 4-stripe white belt because I knew that if I wanted to compete as a white belt again, I would get in trouble for that kind of stuff. So I didn't really want to play with it until I got closer to blue. And I would say within the last 3 months, I've been playing with foot stuff and ankle stuff a lot more. Mm-hmm. But I was really excited because I actually got quite a few wrist locks and leg locks this week.
Yeah, me too.
People. And I would say one of them was actually from Josh's seminar, and I was like, whoa, I actually remember this stuff. That's kind of cool.
I remember it was funny because it was open mat after Josh's seminar, and he taught a specific wrist lock, and I did it in front of him, and he was like, move of the day! And I was like, yeah! And the blue belt I was with was like, oh my god, how did I let that happen?
Yep.
It was so funny.
They come on super quick, though.
That's what she said.
Oh my goodness. They slap on. If you see a wrist lock and you can get it right away, it's a quick tap.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
So, the tap that I did get with the wrist lock this week, I actually, it was my first time doing a wrist lock, I think, in an actual live roll. And I made sure to go very slow with it. Yeah. Wow. I told you I never played with it up until very recently.
How could you not?
But now
they're so fun.
I've done 3 wrist locks this week since then.
Yeah. It was funny. He was also explaining in the seminar how people will often refer to wrist locks and heel hooks and toe holds as prison rules.
Yeah.
And it was super funny because I was doing it after his seminar, and literally the same thing happened to me where they were like, wow, you're using prison rules. And I was like, well, you know.
Well, he also said, too, I don't know why they're so frowned upon. They're still part of your body, and a tap is a tap. It's not
yes.
I don't understand why it's so frowned upon, because I feel like a wrist lock is no different than an arm bar. It's just a different joint. So, why is it so frowned upon?
Yeah, it's because people don't want to tap. And if you get caught in a good toe hold or wrist lock, you have to tap very quickly, or else you're going to get hurt.
Yeah.
I don't know what word just came out of my mouth, but yeah, people don't want to tap, but they also don't want to get hurt, and they think you're just trying to hurt them at that point. Because it's their ego in the way.
Right. Josh was more trying to, like he said, teach us that if you can't get the wrist lock or the ankle lock, it's fine. It's mostly just going to make them move and transition, which will open up other opportunities for you.
Yeah.
So that was cool. That was a cool takeaway.
Mm-hmm.
But then we had lunch, we had subs, and then we learned from Mr. John Friedland.
We learned float passing.
Yep. That was super cool.
That was so fun.
Yep. I'm not good at that.
It was great.
I've been trying all week, and it is not pretty.
It plays in really well with my game because I do a lot of standing guard passes to begin with. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of like crossing their body and sliding down their guard into a guard pass. Mm-hmm. But also helps teach the baseball slide guard pass. And it helps teach stepping through and around people's guards. Mm-hmm. Which I feel like a lot of people lack those skills in jiu-jitsu. Most people pass guard, at least from my experience at our gym. Most people always pass guard from their knees. They never stand up and back out. And they just try to pressure pass.
I always stand up. I have been standing up in people's guard 75% of the time. Because I'm trying to pass it that way. And I'm trying to learn new ways. So, like I said, I've been trying John Friedland's floating passes. And they're not pretty. I did do it once this week. But it was not pretty.
It's so fun. I love it. I love that type of jiu-jitsu also.
Yeah. But basically, I was just like, I'm going to pass you this way. Just kidding. I'm in the air, and now I'm on the other side of you. That's the summary of John Friedland's jiu-jitsu.
Yes, and then he taught another way that's really helpful for scrambles. But kind of when you kind of both land on your side, and you're kind of facing each other, then that battle where you're both trying to get to mount, or both trying to get on top, where if you bring your outside leg of that exchange, typically that's going to get stuffed and you're going to get rolled back to your back.
Yeah.
Right. But if he taught us a way to bring the near side leg in that exchange to kind of use it as a frame and a hook. He called it a grappling hook. Yep. So that when they start to feel it, they kind of pull you over on top. And you land more in side control instead of mount, but it's still way better than not having control and being on your back.
Yeah, Dave was really excited about that one because he said that him and Rob used to get in that position a lot. When they would be doing that fight battle. You know how Rob always did that, where he just laid on his back. But, because I told Dave, I was like, I don't really feel like I get shoulder to shoulder with people on my back very much. And he's like, oh, I do. And he's like, I'll use this all the time.
Yeah, I get there a lot also. It happens a lot more in scrambling, like I said, because it's like when you did half a sweep and the sweep didn't finish, but they're not on their back and you're not on top yet. You're in that position.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that was day 1 of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, but I had to leave that seminar a little bit early. I didn't see the end of it because I had to go start building a bonfire for a cold exposure.
Yeah. Mind you, it's Wisconsin in December.
Yeah, but I was all fired up from jiu-jitsu, so I never took my sandals off when I was out there building the fire, which I now regret. But I will say I built a damn good fire out there in an hour.
There was a huge fire pit. Like, I would say it was probably the size of maybe like these 4 mats, like 2 red and 2 blue all together. Maybe a little bit smaller, but it was roughly that size.
Yeah.
And so what he did was he built 4 mini fires inside of it so that it would all build up into one.
Yeah, instead of trying to build one fire and then try to like build it out, because that takes like a lot of time. I built 4 log cabin pyramid fires and then joined them once they were going.
Yeah.
Because I only had 45 minutes to get the fire going, and I needed it big enough so that when we go into Lake Michigan and come back, people could dry off and warm up.
Yeah, because that was the plan, was they were going to do... So, have you ever heard of a cold tub? Have you ever tried a cold tub?
Or an ice bath?
Now, have you ever jumped into a lake that's like 10 degrees?
Yeah, like a freezing cold lake?
Yeah. That did not sound fun to me. It did not sound appealing at all, so I did not do it.
Were you cold by the fire?
Yes.
Or were you warm?
No, I was cold.
Dang it. I didn't make it well enough.
I mean, my thighs were warm because that's where it was.
Yeah.
But everything else was cold. Like, I had to keep rotating. I felt like a rotisserie chicken, just rotating on the fire so that I could get my butt warm.
The thing that was also difficult is that there was no chairs.
Mm-hmm.
And there was nowhere to sit by the fire. It was only standing room only.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you were also cold because you needed to make space for the people going in the lake. Yeah. But yeah, it was a big fire. It was big enough for us to throw a pallet on at the middle to end of the fire, which was fun.
Honestly, I wasn't that cold, though, because even after everyone went inside, Megan and I still hung out for like a half hour by it. So it was fine. Yes.
But yeah, this was the hardest part of the camp for me, for sure. Not building the fire, but going into Lake Michigan.
Yeah. So I would say like probably 10, maybe 15-ish people went and decided that they were going to do their Wim Hof breathing. They all got in their bathing suits. They sat by the fire shirtless with just...
We didn't just decide. It was programmed into the camp. This is one of the events.
Yeah.
And the people... We knew that like the core of us, like Josh, me, John, Charles, were all going to do it. And like anybody else was a bonus, basically. But there was a lot of people that did join us.
I was not one. But yeah, so it was kind of cool. I got a couple of pictures of them just like around the fire, shirtless, and I think it was probably 25 degrees at this point in the air. So you can only imagine how cold that water was. But yeah, so they all were wearing water shoes for the most part.
Not everybody, though. Some people did not bring anything for their feet.
Yeah, that was not smart. But then we went into, well, I took videos of people going into the lake, but you can't really see them because it was dark out. I thought the moon was going to be able to do a little bit of reflection, which I got some. Eyes. Well, I got some with flash of pictures, but for a video, you can't see anything. You can just hear a bunch of stuff. So, but they got in, and then you explain your experience. I didn't go in.
Right. So the goal was to only be in the lake for a minute, and then they were going to call us back. Mind you, it was very windy, and there was a lot of waves, like big waves, like maybe like 3-foot waves, at least. And so the fire is about like 100, 150 feet away from the lake. So we have to like march to the lake. And I think we only let like 5 of us go at a time so that we didn't like lose people in the lake, which was the best thing we did that day. But yeah, so then we start marching over there. And I didn't get to do my proper breathing either because I let everybody else get close to the fire. And the only open spot next to the fire was the spot where all the smoke was going. So I took a deep breath. I was like, because I just inhaled all the fire smoke. And I was like, oh, God. And then everybody started marching. And I was like, well, I'm going in now. I don't get to do my breathing.
But then you came out and you were so mad.
I wasn't mad. I was just trying not to die. So anyways, going in the lake was crazy. I was wearing water shoes, so that helped me. But my feet instantly turned numb once I stepped into the lake. And then, like I said, the waves were high. So the waves, like, in order to walk into the lake, I had to walk, like, I don't know, 30, 35 steps to get, like, to above my knees in water. And then at that point, I tried to sit down so I could, like, submerge myself in the freezing cold lake.
Whereas, like, a cold tub, you kind of already get in near your thigh length, and
Right.
you can just, like, sink in.
Yeah, you just step into it and sit down, and then it's up to your chest.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the lake, I was trying to get up to my chest, and I was like, oh my god, this is not working. So I tried to get out there.
And I mean, even in summer, you guys know how hard it is to get into the lake when it's even 90 degrees out, and you get in the water, and you're like, holy crap, this is cold.
Yeah,
and then you don't want to get in.
And it's sunny, and you can see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was pitch black. All there was moonlight.
Well, like, even in a pool, for me, we were just in Vegas in November, and I still was having issues getting
like a
up
60-degree pool.
Yeah, like up to my belly button. I was like, I don't want to get my stomach wet. And I always have to do, like, heavy breathing, and then I have to splash water on my stomach, because otherwise I just won't do it. I'm a little...
Yeah. But yeah, so I finally sat down in the lake, and I got the water to just about chest level. I know it was over my elbows for sure. And I was trying to be as small as possible and just do some breathing. But the waves were coming in, so they were splashing up over my shoulders. And then it was like heavy waves, so it would splash up on you and then pull you out. So it was very dangerous for us because somebody could have easily been pulled out to the lake, and that would have been terrible. But that didn't happen, so we don't have to worry about that. But
yeah, we all agreed at the end, like, that was not very smart.
Yeah.
We might not do it in February just because of that.
We might change it up a little bit.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. But I did have this awesome moment of peace when I was in the water, and I was doing my breathing, and the waves pulled me out. So I was facing just the horizon of the dark water over the moonlit sky, which is already hard to differentiate, but you can see, like, almost the black water versus almost the navy blue moonlit sky, comparatively. And the moon was just shining, and I saw the reflection on the water and the moon, and I just had this awesome moment of clarity and peace and reflection that I'll probably remember for the rest of my life. Mm-hmm. And then at that moment, I was like, okay, I need to get out, go to the fire. But after that, I had that moment, and then I was like, okay, it's time to go. And then I stood up, and I was like, holy shit, I cannot feel my feet. Straight up.
Like, he was wondering if his feet were still attached.
Yeah. And
I heard that was common, but it seemed like Nick had it the worst.
Yes, and that's why I said earlier when I was building the fire, I was still in my sandals, which was the bad idea. I should have definitely worn shoes, at least. Like, covered my toes. But I was still wearing sandals for some reason. So, yeah.
And then I even told you, I was like, you should really put your swim shoes on. And you're like, it's not going to make a difference. I'm like, your toes are covered in your swim shoes.
Yeah.
And then he's like, yeah, you're right.
But yeah, my toes are cold just thinking about it. But yeah, then I came back to the fire and dried off and just tried to take in the moment, which was also another cool feeling, just being by the fire and knowing what I did and warming up and taking in that moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, my toes were dead. And then the second wave went through, and then we were all dried off, and everybody survived, which was great. And then someone at the bar, because we were at a yacht club, someone at the bar thought we were absolutely insane, which, yes, we probably are absolutely insane. And then he bought us bottles of liquor to warm ourselves up with. So they were pouring shots, and, like, they handed me a shot glass before everybody was ready to take a shot, and I was holding it. But I was so cold that you can't see me on camera if you're listening, but I was, like, shaking, trying to hold the shot and, like, waiting to take it. And the licenses for the bar also didn't allow shots inside the bar, so we can only pour it outside. And this was also not by the fire. And I was spilling my shot, waiting to take it, just like...
Can we cheers now? Hurry up.
Come on, guys. It was the coldest I've ever been in my life. And I physically couldn't stop shaking. I was looking at my hand like, wow.
Yeah. But then we were inside the yacht club for the rest of the night and hung out. He did a poker tournament with a majority of the people who were there.
Yeah, there was like 10 people that did the free poker tournament for jiu-jitsu instructionals and a private lesson with the instructor, Charles. And It was the wildest game of poker I've ever played in my life. She didn't watch at all. She was hanging out with some other people, just talking or whatever. They were doing girl stuff.
Sitting on a couch with blankets and chilling.
Yeah, it sounds like girl stuff to me. But yeah, the poker tournament, half the people had never played poker before. A couple people were very intoxicated. And there's a couple of us that knew what the hell was going on and knew how terrible everything was going for poker-wise. But it still ended up being very memorable, very fun, and I ended up winning the tournament and getting my pick of instructionals or private lessons. So I get to redeem my private lessons sometimes.
Yeah, that's cool. We thought about doing it Sunday night too, but again, we were just tired.
Yeah, we didn't want to do more.
So that was Saturday. That's how long Saturday was. And
also,
then...
I felt bad because there was pictures on the wall.
Oh my god. That's right. I forgot about that.
Oh, sorry. Never mind.
Oh my goodness.
I won't bring it up. You want to tell them the story?
You're drunk ass. He had all these shots, and he was frozen, and he probably couldn't feel his feet, so he, like, stumbled over, and I don't know.
No, that's not what happened.
Okay, whatever. And all you just hear is this big, crash, and everyone looks, and Nick had knocked down a picture on the wall and broke the glass everywhere.
What happened?
And Megan looked at me, and Megan was like, oh, man.
What had happened was, I was walking like normal, not stumbling, and there was all these pictures on the wall. And they were not
the employees of the yacht club or something.
I don't know, members of the yacht club.
Yeah.
But I was looking at them because there was a little ledge they were just sitting on, and I was like, "Are these pictures attached to the wall at all?" And I picked it up, and it was not. And I was like, "Oh, that's interesting." And then I put it back. Okay, I put it back, and then I turned around to go sit down, and then all of a sudden, it just crashed. I don't know what happened.
Why are you touching things?
Why not?
It's not yours.
I touch anything.
You're not supposed to touch things that aren't yours. I'll bite you. Stop.
So yeah, that happened. That was interesting.
So Saturday, it was a long day.
Yes.
And then on Sunday morning, Josh wanted to do another cold exposure.
Yes.
It's supposed to be in the lake again.
Yep. So I went to the spot. I was going to build a fire on the beach.
At 5 a.m.
Yes. So I went there. I got there on time. And they were going to attack me, the people on the beach. And I was scared. So we made an audible.
Oh my god. He thought he saw patrol boats, so he called it off, and they ended up going to Josh's condo instead.
Yeah, it just didn't feel right. I don't know. Maybe they were just fishers. They probably
Josh
weren't
was like, there were fishing boats, Nick. And Nick was like, I got scared. I wasn't there. Again, I don't do cold exposure. I don't care about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, you're not supposed to, I don't know if you're supposed to do fires on the beach or not, but, I'm going to learn something from this experience.
Well, then they went to Josh's house, and then they did the cold tub and hot tub at
which was way nicer.
Yeah.
I didn't do that on purpose or anything.
And then they went out to breakfast as a group.
Yes. And watched John have a bunch of wine.
Yeah.
For breakfast.
That's cool.
That was
YOLO.
fun. Yep.
But then we had another jiu-jitsu seminar, and this time they went opposite directions. So John taught first on Sunday, which was pretty cool. And he went over a whole bunch of stuff, actually.
He went over spooling?
Yeah. Yeah, we did so it was I think it was called spool and weave. And it was all just learning how to manipulate yourself and put yourself in shorter positions so it doesn't take as long to do stuff. That's basically how it went, because there was a takedown that I just absolutely loved, and it was done completely opposite direction of what I was used to doing.
Yeah. But
it works phenomenally, and I'm super excited about it.
Yeah, he was more so talking about how to get a good grip of your opponent and kind of wrap them up into your momentum and sweep them or take them down or reverse the position.
Basically, if you can think of, maybe fluid's the only thing that causes this, but think of the Fat Man roll.
That's pretty common, I think.
It's called Fat Man roll everywhere?
Yeah.
Okay, so think of the Fat Man roll. It's basically that from every position.
Yes.
That's how he was teaching, how to get a good grip on the arm in order to dump them off of you.
Yeah, but he also taught the concept from De La Hiva and a judo throw.
Yep.
And butterfly.
Yep.
Yes.
Butterfly, standing, turtle, guard, all these things. Like, it was just a very cool seminar. I really enjoyed that one a lot.
Yes. Yeah, that was fun. I've been using that concept a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been having fun with it.
Yep. And then Josh taught defensive jiu-jitsu, which was super fun. He taught the stuff from Preet Mikkelsen, I believe. And
he learned all of that when he was in Estonia. Or just Europe in general for the Globetrotters. Apparently, it's not really popular in the Americas yet, but it's coming over.
Yep. But I've been annoying the shit out of everybody this week. I guarantee it.
Same. We've been learning some really cool stuff and been using it in our live rolling this week.
Yeah, so we learned the different turtle, and then the running man, the stick, the panda, and the hawking.
Yep.
Yes. And then it's really funny because we were learning that, and then one of our instructors, Mike Coy, he's been on the podcast before, he messaged me, told me about how he's been using Pritt's defensive BJJ.
Before he even knew we were doing it.
Right, and I was like, oh my god, I just learned a seminar on this. And then Tuesday, we played around with it with each other, which sounds weird. And then Thursday, he had me teach it.
Really?
Yeah. He wasn't there, though.
Why are you teaching that stuff? We have to use it first before we can teach it.
That's not the first time I've been exposed to it. I've been using Panda for a while, but I just got a bunch more details this weekend.
Interesting.
Yeah. But all I did was teach the turtle and the panda.
Got it.
Yeah.
That was Josh's seminar. It was super cool. I'm using that stuff probably the most out of everything that we learned.
Yeah.
So, thanks, Josh. And
yeah, super fun.
Then Charles did end up teaching a third seminar right away. So, there was...
Yes, 3 in a row.
3 hour-and-a-half seminars in a row. That is 4.5 hours of jiu-jitsu straight. So, I didn't do that one. I did it for the first, 20 minutes, and then I was like, I cannot anymore. And also, the sun was beating in so much at that point that we were directly in the sun through the windows, and I was sweating so much without even doing anything. So it felt like it was just rough. It was a rough morning. So I was like,
it felt like the mats were lava if they were in the sun.
Yeah.
It was weird.
I was just done. I was pooped. I was tired. I just wanted to lay down. But I was still super engaged on what Charles was trying to teach. So I still sat in the back with my notebook open and took notes.
Yeah. What did he teach? BJJ hacks?
Yeah.
Yes.
Just a bunch of random little things that make your jiu-jitsu better.
Yeah, but he feeded it into everything that had already been taught over the seminar. And it was really cool because the stuff that was taught earlier, all the instructors were able to incorporate it and connect it to the things that they were teaching, which was really cool to see because typically seminars are just this here, or you can use this position, or this submission is done from here or there. But they really weaved it in together because they all watched each other's seminar and was like, then this leads into what they taught. And bridged the gap of everything.
It was a really good way to retain everything too.
Right.
Especially for the people who maybe aren't as experienced with maybe just jiu-jitsu or seminars or whatever it is. But if you have trouble retaining things a while later after you've seen something.
9 hours of seminars?
Yeah. So this was a really good way to weave it all together and make it so that people could retain it. Because there were quite a few white belts there. I mean, I still have trouble retaining things that I've seen in the past. So that was good for me to keep drilling and keep seeing in different perspectives. But it was super fun. And then we had pizza.
Yes. Good pizza.
And hung out, did open mat for a little bit. Because, we didn't do enough jiu-jitsu for the whole weekend.
Yeah, I was trying to get some rolls in, but there wasn't that many people rolling for some reason.
Everyone was done. Everyone was pooped.
I was not pooped. But I was ready.
I got to roll with all the girls, which was super cool. Very fun. And
I almost got heel hooked by a white belt over and over.
Shout out Natasha.
Yes. Well, Natasha's been traveling with Charles, who is a fantastic leg locker, and most of the time teaches a leg lock seminar with her as the Uki.
Yeah.
So she is
lots of exposure.
Great at leg locks. And she would get a hold of my leg and I'd be like, oh shit. Immediately. Typically when people grab my leg, I'm like, okay, what's going on here? Oh yeah, okay, we'll figure this out.
I did that running away from Denise yesterday. She grabbed my leg and I just turned around, I started running away and she was like, what the hell?
It works so well, doesn't it?
Yep. I was like, Nick told me that.
I use that, so sidetrack here, but I use that move that you're talking about where you kind of roll to your belly and like crawl away.
Yeah.
Right? I use that as a warm-up for Tuesday or Thursday morning.
Okay.
For the morning class. And I was like, this seems weird, but it's going to open up your hips and it's something that you can use more in your jiu-jitsu as you figure it out. Mm-hmm. And they were like all weird about it. And then I showed them the application of it to just like crawl away from people when they're trying to hold you down. And they were like, wow. Surprisingly effective.
Yeah.
Anyways. Yeah, Natasha has great leg lock game that I had to respect. Otherwise, my knees were going to explode. So that was super fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's lots of good rolls out there. A lot of brown belts, some fun blue belts. Charles whooped my ass. Not gonna lie.
That's good.
But I also wasn't trying to roll really hard because I knew that a lot of people were tired as shit. And I wasn't trying to be like that aggressive purple belt that was out to kill people. So I was rolling like a bit more flowy, but also like, you know, not gritty as possible to not tap to anything.
Right. Yeah, it was fun. And we had really good pizza. And
oh yeah, we had toppers.
Yep. And we hung out and we were talking about recording this podcast, episode 44, and we had all these plans and we're like, we're gonna do this and that, and then we're gonna record, and then we hung out with Josh, Megan, and then Charles and Natasha, and it was just the six of us. And yeah, we did not pull out a camera. We pulled out a game instead, and yes. That was much
and I drew some dicks.
Needed.
Actually, I don't think I drew. Oh, I did draw some dicks. Yeah.
Yeah. We also got an albino Grim Reaper.
Oh my god. An albino Grim Reaper. The hairy ass popped up. There's a lot of crazy shit we were drawing in Telestrations.
We were playing Telestrations After Dark, so the adult version of Telestrations. If you've never played it, it's very fun. You should definitely play it.
Yes.
It is the only game that we have that can consistently make me laugh because
yes.
It's never, like, you never know what's going to happen.
I love it. So, yeah.
Okay. Our dog is whining. Apparently we've been doing this too long. It hasn't even been an hour.
I don't know how long it's been. I lost track of time. But anyways, yeah, so that was last weekend. And typically we record on Sunday mornings.
Yeah.
But our Sunday morning was occupied by me getting spooked by some
patrol
boats. I was like, they're running up and down the beach. They're gonna find me and take me. I don't know what I was expecting.
Yeah. So we had a really fun week putting all of our fire and water camp techniques to the test. Mm-hmm. And using it throughout our live rolls, and it was really cool, especially for me on Tuesday, because Tuesdays is a women's only class, and typically, like, it's mostly pretty new women, which is fantastic, and it's super fun, but that's, like, the perfect time to, like, start using things that you're not used to, whereas Nick likes to call it your B game that he gets a lot of shit about.
Yeah.
But I was definitely using that on them just to see, like, how it would work and how they would react to it, because obviously if I do it to people like Nick, it's just going to get turned down. So
turned down for what?
So I was able to practice almost every move that I learned from Josh's Prit seminar.
Yes, all the Tuesday, positions.
Which was very fun. And then Nick is not in that class because he's a male. And I came home.
I get kicked out every week and it's bullshit.
But I came home and I was just like, Nick, oh my god, I did all these things and I was so excited about it. And it was funny because Ellie was watching, and she's the purple belt at our gym, and she was just kind of like walking around and doing laps and things when she wasn't rolling, and she was telling everyone, she's like, Brittany's doing some shit. Brittany's doing that again. Don't get there. Brittany's trying that.
Oh, that's so funny. I've been using the stick on so many people, and they're like, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. You look like an idiot, but I don't know what to stop. I can't stop it. It's so funny. It's
been very fun. It was a fun week of rolling, and we did a lot of it.
Yeah, we did a lot of rolling this week. So for me, I had a good week because I got to teach a couple classes. Mike needed a sub on Thursday morning, and I taught Thursday morning class. But it was also weird because we had a windstorm Wednesday night. And so on Thursday, the building didn't have full power yet. So there was only a couple lights on. The emergency lights were buzzing. The heat wasn't working.
It was 58 degrees in our gym, and the mats were freezing.
And I still taught class, like, basically in the dark. That was in the morning when we were like, maybe it'll work later on in the night. And then we came back for night class. I was also teaching because our instructor was in Costa Rica giving kids soccer balls, which is very nice of him. Mm-hmm. Our instructor, our dad, whoever you want to call him. So that was an awesome thing he was doing.
He raised a lot of money through donations, and then he was able to buy a bunch of soccer balls. And then he went to Costa Rica and delivered a brand new soccer ball personally to kids at schools in Costa Rica who couldn't afford them. And the balls that they were using were just gross. They were deflated.
They were, like tattered. They had no covering anymore. They were just like
gray slop. It was gray slop.
Yes. Yes.
So now they have these bright, colorful, inflated balls, and they apparently like scream for joy, and they were super excited about it, and it was really cool. But he was gone all week.
Yes. So we had guest instructors all week from our gym, which was super fun. Learned a bunch of awesome stuff from a bunch of awesome people this week. Anyways, I got to teach Thursday beginner class, which was a bunch of guard passing, which I had a great time teaching guard passes. But it felt like I was a substitute teacher in class.
Yeah.
And all the blues and purples were just being like rambunctious teenagers. And I was like, circle up! It's time to do up techniques. It was funny. I appreciate it.
Yeah, they didn't want to listen.
Yeah.
But then we also had some special guests come and join us for Saturday Open Mat, which is always awesome.
But you forgot about Friday. What happened on Friday?
We had a Christmas open sweater, or ugly sweater open mat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a no-gi ugly sweater open mat, and I dressed up in these full holiday pattern pajamas from head to toe.
They were hideous. They were awful.
I was a red belt that day because it had a red tie to put it on. I was like, I'm a red belt.
Yeah. That was a fun open mat. But
it was fun.
Again, a lot of rolling.
Yes.
So we rolled Tuesday, we rolled Wednesday, Thursday.
Probably rolled for an hour, 45 minutes straight Friday night for sure.
Yeah, it was a long time. And then Saturday is just, we don't go to any of the classes Saturday morning anymore. We typically just go and show up for open mat at noon. But this Saturday we had...
I've been really busy on Saturdays.
Yeah.
And I'm still trying to make it out to West Bend as much as I can.
Really?
But that hasn't happened. I want to, yes.
Oh, you didn't tell me that.
Well, we haven't had any opportunity for me to get out there. Oh, yeah, last Saturday we were at the camp. That's why we didn't go to class. Mm-hmm. We just did a super class.
And the Saturday before that, we were working Fuji.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But...
anyways.
We had sweeps. Denise and Ephraim come and join us. And
yes.
they are basically our sister school at this point. I think they're our affiliate. We can help them out with anything that they need and stuff like that. But they are from Watoma, so that is 3 hours away. So it was really cool that they did the drive out here. And they're a fantastic brown and purple belt. Mm-hmm. So they're
Ephraim
also
almost made me
couple.
bite my tongue off. No, it's my fault. I shouldn't put my tongue between my teeth. Obviously.
But yeah, it was always fun rolls with them.
Yeah, Ephraim is a tough competitor. And he's a brown belt and head instructor of sweeps. Mm-hmm. And him and I just had some amazing rolls. And I had some really awesome rolls with everybody Saturday. I really enjoyed it a lot. Yeah,
had some good rolls too. I was just so tired. Like today, I'm excited that we're not rolling, honestly. I'm ready for a day break.
I want to roll. I was going to ask you if you want to roll after this.
Absolutely not.
Dang it.
I don't. But I try.
Yeah, if you never ask, you'll never get an answer.
Right.
You miss every shot you don't take. That's what I was looking for.
Okay.
That's the quote I was looking for.
Yeah.
Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott.
Anyway, so we had a fantastic seminar and camp experience. So I hope that if you have never joined a seminar or a camp or anything and this kind of like opened your eyes on it or you want to expand your horizon on it, like you should definitely sign up for one. If you're in this area, you should definitely come to the Fire and Water Camp in February because it is fantastic. You don't have to do the cold exposure. I don't do it. I don't plan on doing it.
So I'm wearing this rash guard, which is from, what's it called?
Morningstar.
Morningstar. And this is one of the guest instructors coming from Morningstar to the Fire and Water Camp in February.
Do you think Morningstar means anything to them? They're from Denver, Colorado.
Right. Well, I was gonna say that. Jeez. She never lets me get through my stuff. My coffee has not worked as good as her coffee, obviously, this morning.
We went and visited Denver, Colorado in October of 2020. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. That's crazy.
Over a year ago.
Yeah, October 2020. And we went to Morningstar and we got to meet Tim, who was the head instructor there.
Yes.
And he was a fantastic instructor. He actually taught something that I use quite frequently at this point.
I taught it on Friday night
But he's going to be one of the instructors there. So that's super cool because Josh Janis and Megan have also trained at Morningstar when they visited Colorado. So it's kind of like the place for us to go.
I think they know each other from Neutral Ground somehow or something like that.
Really?
Or he used to be a Milwaukee guy.
I think Josh is the one who told us to go there.
Yeah, he did. He was.
Okay.
Right.
Because we were debating on what gym to go to, and Josh said, go to Morningstar. But yeah, so Tim is going to be one of the instructors. Josh
has also taught a seminar there before.
Oh, really?
Like 18 seminar.
That's cool. It's really hard to train in Colorado.
Yeah, with the higher elevation.
I was dying.
Yeah. Our Colorado trip. We didn't do podcasts at that point in time, but we were supposed to go to compete in Colorado because we wanted to make it vacation and competition.
But then COVID happened, and so competitions got canceled. But we still went. And
we had a non-refundable hotel and stuff, so we were like, well, might as well go.
And that was a really fun trip, actually. We didn't even start our podcast yet at that point, but
which we did.
That was
amazing.
It was a very fun trip.
One of my favorite moments in my life was in Colorado, on the mountain in the hot springs.
Oh yeah, that was very cool.
But
anyway, so Tim is going to be the instructor there. Him and Josh are the only two announced so far, but
there
as
will
it
be
gets
a third
closer,
special instructor.
It'll get more. So it'll be awesome. You should sign up if you are interested because spots are very limited, so it will sell out.
Yeah, and it's a good price. It's only $200 for 2 days of straight jiu-jitsu seminars.
Yep. And you get lunch included, and there's always nightly activities. They'll probably rent out another place to go hang out for the night as a group. And
yes, we will have lots of activities. It's going to be fun.
Yes.
Yep.
But I think, do you have anything else to expand on? It's really good for this episode.
Go to seminars. Gordon Ryan's coming to Milwaukee.
Yeah, that's sold out in an hour.
It's sold out in less than a day. But
Gordon
Ryan is coming to Milwaukee doing 2 seminars in a day. He told me.
Dave bought the 2 sessions.
Yeah, I'm going to sneak into Dave's backpack and then just listen for the sessions. No, that's going to be exciting. Yeah,
lots of cool stuff. And then we got Christmas this week, and then we got some competitions coming up, so we'll be starting to train for those. We're debating which ones we're going to do and if I'm going to do one. I'm debating on doing February. At this point, I feel like I could, but...
Put in the comments if you think Brittany should compete or not.
I said I would do 2 at every belt. So this could be number 1 of 2 for blue.
Could be, yeah.
But we'll see. My thumb has been sprained and not doing well for the last couple weeks, so I haven't been able to train the way that I would like to. I mean, I'm still training a lot, but I have to really tuck my hand, and I've had my hand wrapped every single time that I'm rolling, and I can't use it for grips and anything, so it's been rough, and obviously competition heightens all of that, so gripping for collars and takedowns and everything, I just feel like I would actually break it instead of spraining it, so we'll see. I was going to take the next couple weeks to see how it heals, and if it does heal, then I'll probably sign up. If it doesn't, maybe I'll wait till April and maybe do pans. Yeah, because I know in February we're thinking about a couple competitions. There's some local ones here. But in April, I think I'm dead set on going to compete IBJJF at pans. Purple belt. See what happens. Sounds like we're going to be in Orlando in April. So if you're going to go to pans or you just want to come and support, let us know in the comments, and maybe we'll see you there. Yeah, it'll be a good time, regardless. So very cool. All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys. Awesome. Thanks so much. We should be back next week. I think our schedule's finally calming down a little bit. So it's only Christmas next week, so it's Saturday though. We can record on Sunday. Just kidding. So all right. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye bye. Hope you have a great day or night or whenever you're listening to this.